Building Legacy and Strengthening the Movement. Welcome back to the Seasoned Vegan series. This episode focuses on something that often gets overlooked in conversations about the vegan lifestyle: legacy. Many people talk about how to start the journey, others focus on the health benefits or ethics behind the lifestyle. But seasoned vegans eventually realize something important. The movement we see today did not appear overnight. It was built over decades by people who were willing to question norms, challenge industries, and imagine a different relationship between humans, animals, and the planet. Understanding that history helps us see our role in shaping what comes next. The modern vegan movement began taking shape in the mid-20th century. In 1944, the word vegan was formally introduced by Donald Watson and the founders of the Vegan Society in the United Kingdom. In that time, the idea of completely removing animal products from the diet was considered extremely unconventional. Even vegetarianism was still a niche lifestyle in many parts of the world. Those early pioneers did not have plant-based menus at restaurants. They didn't have vegan sections in grocery stores. They didn't have social media communities sharing recipes and resources. They were navigating the lifestyle with very limited support. But they believed in the principle of reducing harm and living more compassionately. Over time, the movement began to grow. In the 1970s and 1980s, natural food stores and early plant-based cookbooks helped introduce more people to the idea of plant-focused diets. In the 1990s and early 2000s, vegan advocacy groups, documentaries, and grassroots communities began expanding the conversation around animal rights and environmental sustainability. Then something significant happened in the last 15 to 20 years. Plant-based products became more widely available. Restaurants started experimenting with vegan menus. Athletes, doctors, and public figures began speaking about health benefits of plant-rich diets. And conversations moved from the margins into the mainstream. Today, we see vegan restaurants, plant-based products in major grocery stores, and an expanding global conversation about sustainability and compassionate living. But even with all this progress, the movement still relies heavily on community. And that is where seasoned vegans play an important role. Because behind every movement are people who keep its stories alive. Restaurants that opened long before plant-based dining became popular, community organizers who hosted early potlucks and meetups, activists who spent years educating the public about animal rights, doctors and nutrition experts who research plant-based health. These individuals and organizations created the foundation that allowed the movement to grow. Supporting local vegan businesses is one of the most powerful ways to strengthen that foundation. Vegan restaurants, bakeries, cafes, and food trucks often operate with tight margins, especially in their early years. When communities show up consistently, those businesses become gathering places that help connect people to the lifestyle. A great vegan restaurant can do more than serve food. It can introduce someone to the lifestyle for the first time. It can host events, conversations, and celebrations that strengthen the community. When seasoned vegans support these spaces, they help ensure that those spaces continue to exist. The same is true for nonprofit organizations and grassroots initiatives that promote plant-based living and animal advocacy. These groups rely on volunteers, donations, and community engagement to continue their work. Another important part of building legacy is documentation. The vegan movement has grown quickly, and many of the stories that shaped it risk being forgotten if they're not preserved. Seasoned vegans hold valuable knowledge about how the movement evolved. You may remember the first vegan restaurant in your city. You may remember the early events, the small gatherings, the community organizers who brought people together. These stories matter. Documenting them through interviews, articles, podcasts, videos, or simple social media posts help preserve the history of the movement for future generations. When pre-vegans enter the community, they often see the present moment. Seasoned vegans can help them see the journey that brought us here. That perspective creates appreciation and connection. It also strengthens relationships between seasoned vegans and pre-vegans. When experienced members of the community share knowledge and stories, newer members feel welcomed into something larger than themselves. They begin to see the lifestyle not just as a diet, but as a part of the evolving cultural shift towards compassion and sustainability. The connection between generations within the movement is incredibly important. Pre-vegans bring curiosity, creativity, and momentum. Seasoned vegans bring experience, perspective, and long-term commitment. When these two groups support each other, the movement becomes stronger and more resilient. Legacy is not only about the past, it's also about what we choose to build moving forward. Each seasoned vegan contributes to that legacy through everyday actions, the conversations we have, the businesses we support, the communities we help build, and the example we set for the people who are just beginning their journey. As we close this episode of the Seasoned Vegan series, here are 3 simple action steps. First, share your vegan story publicly. Your journey might inspire someone who is still exploring their lifestyle. Whether through conversations, writing, or social media, your experience has value. Second, support local plant-based businesses and nonprofit organizations. Every time you support a vegan restaurant, event, or organization, you help strengthen the ecosystem that keeps the movement growing. And third, participate in community projects that strengthen the movement. This can mean volunteering, attending events, helping organize gatherings, or simply showing up to support others in the community. Seasoned vegans carry something incredibly important: experience, wisdom, perspective. And when that knowledge is shared with pre-vegans who are just beginning their journey, it helps ensure that the movement continues to grow in a healthy and supportive way. The vegan movement is not just a trend. It is a cultural shift built by people who believe a more compassionate world is possible. And every seasoned vegan who shares their story supports their community and guides the next generation who becomes part of that legacy. Thank you for listening to the Seasoned Vegan series.